Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Taylor Belly. It's day 21. I'm on here early today because today I know I've got my big day of work. I wanted to get into this now while I'm fresh and awake, and I wanted you to also take notice of what it's like that when we go to sleep at night. So all our stress, our worries, they all, become more at night time. But when we go to bed, it resets. Okay, so in this magical space now in the morning, when you are by yourself, that's why I love no one's here, so I can be in my proper space. I've already had my coffee, I'm burning my incense, I put on my Reiki music in the background to just get me centered. And it was my gut feeling that I need to do this video now, so then I can just enjoy the rest of the day and do what I need to do. So how are we feeling? Okay, day 21, like it's going so fast. I am very grateful for this, and I'm grateful to be able to chat to you every day and for myself. So today, day 21. So what am I doing today? Today, basically, I'm going to work. It is an easier day, but I'm still meeting some newer clients. I am going to try and do some training today, absolutely. And like I said, do my video, then come back home, and then I can just relax and be. Okay, so today I want us to talk about it. In the next chapter of my book is chapter 6, and it's money to survive. Okay, before we tap into me, that 14 to 16-year-old self, and what I thought about money, and basically got a tickle in my throat. So, when we're growing up, it is through our parents, it is through our family that we are taught about money. Okay, if we've got lots or if we don't have much, all of that sort of stuff. So our values are actually tied to when we were growing up. Okay, I have learned throughout the years that money is just a form of energy. Okay, when we take away what money means, money is just another current of energy. Okay, this means, like, when we die, we can't take it with us, so why be so attached to it? Okay, when we die, we leave it to our family. Like, money is energy, and it is something that I get. We need it, we have to live with it, but that's just how the world is being made, that we are dependent on something. But when you learn and get you tapped into your energy work, into that higher self and spiritual self, you'll learn that, like I said, I keep saying it, money is energy. So for me, for example, when my energy is low, when I'm not in alignment with myself, money doesn't come. Okay, money is hard, bills turn up, all of that stuff. And I'm like, I've been practicing this for, not even just over 4 years with my business, but I'm talking about even when I worked at, the gym, my other jobs, like, because, it was casual or part-time, so it was always about what hours can you get and this sort of stuff. Also in the gym, I had to get clients. Okay, we got paid per client. And then even at my business, you have to create something, and you have to create that with your energy. Okay, so if my energy was down and it was not right and it was not flowing, like, I would lose work, I would get cancellations, more bills would turn up. And then what happens? Then there's this circle of stress. I can't do this, I can't pay for this, all of this stuff. Okay, and what have I kept on saying? The more you feed something, the more you're going to keep receiving that same result. So I've learned over the years, especially when I start doing all my vibration work, when I go to the gym, when I do RPM, anything that lights me up, when I'm my happiest, money flows. Money comes easily. Work turns up. So even in the last 3 weeks since doing these videos, because I know it's in my best intention for this, for you guys, work is crazy. My new jobs turn up, like everything, synchronicities. It's because money is energy. It's like basically you're allowing yourself to receive. Whereas before, when you're in that lower vibration, you've got like a closed door. So how can anything in your life come to you if you shut that door? That's huge. And like, that's a hard lesson because like, I'll use my family as an example. They came from lack. All right. I grew up, and a lot of us did with the basic minimums. And then we also went through that stage when all the interest rates are up and all sorts of things like that. But I do know that on both sides, whatever we were going through with money and stuff, I still had really good family members that could still create opportunity, wealth out of thin air. Well, that's what it felt like. Okay, it's because of their energy, their light, their hard working, like persistence, perseverance. All right, like sometimes you got no choice and you just have to get up and do stuff. That was when I learned that really hard work ethic when I paid for my braces. Okay, that's when I got my first job, but that's how I found the restaurant. That's how I found Alan and all of the guys in the restaurant. There was like 4 or 5 of them, like that. They 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, bang, 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 all about money. Yes, then that's not teaching about balance and all of that stuff. But these are the people that taught me that when you don't have anything and you want to change your life, you've got to get off your bum and just do it. Okay? Because you might have to, for a few years, work really hard, but then everything starts flowing and coming to you. It's like exactly what I tell my daughters. Like they've seen, through my lessons and my life, how hard it is. Like I had to go do my diploma again. I tried to do my, Bachelor of Health Science. Like on and off, I've done multiple jobs, like because of my way back at school, I didn't focus and concentrate, but I couldn't because I had other responsibilities. And I also like to party. Like there's everything that you do, it causes a ripple effect. Okay? And that's why I teach my daughters, you work hard now and then all the opportunities come for you. Okay? And some people go, well, what happens if there's no opportunities? But that's crap. Okay? It is all about energy. Okay? So have a look at your life. I know this is a time in life where money is really hard, like shopping, electricity, all of this stuff. But again, put on the flip side, instead of saying, oh my gosh, shopping is so expensive, I can't afford this. You go into the shops and you find what works. You let go of what you don't need, okay, only for a little while. There's lots of specials out there. So you can potentially, be in your favor, okay? Same with electricity. Turn the lights off. Like common sense, like cut what you need. Like that's also too, that's my generation that learned that, we're so used to Netflix, this, mobiles, all of this stuff, internet. When there's times in my life, and I'm very grateful for that because I learned that skill from my family, when I can't afford stuff or, sometimes I've been lucky to have help when I need it, but I always pay it back. Like if you have debts or bills, you always pay it. So that's a very important value. But I also know when sometimes in life you've got things to pay or you've got things to save or you've got things to do, you have to tighten up. And this life, you look at it, half of the things we have, we don't need. We're just taught and brought up. Like, my kids, they're still, teenagers. But when that cyclone happened, and we had 5 days of no power, 5 days of no internet, 5 days of no just going into the fridge, like they freaked out. They're not used to what we had to be brought up with. And I think, to be honest, when we have things like that, that's a good lesson for everyone. That's a wake-up call. So in your life, if you feel like there's not enough money, Yes, it's your energy. Yes, you can fix it. But in the meantime, you do everything that you can to balance it out. What don't you need anymore? Like, do I need that extra packet of whatever? Do I really need to have this light on? Do I really need to, use this hot water? Like, start thinking about stuff like that. Do I need Netflix? Think about that sort of stuff. No judgments for anything. Like, do I need that membership? Do I need to go out? Do I need to go have that drink? All of that stuff you start thinking about. Okay? But then, you can be like that for a little while, but I also learned too, if we go around saying, I can't afford this, I can't do that, like, you're lowering your vibration. Like, say for example, you want to be of a higher vibration and you want to attract better things. So say for example, you do like getting your nails done or your hair done, but you say, I can't afford it, I can't do this. Then you're in that vibration. But sometimes I've also seen too, when I'm like, I'm getting my nails done, I'm getting my hair done, I deserve it, that self-care, then that also raises the vibration that I am worthy, that I'm allowed to receive, and then the money turns up for it. So I've seen that as well. So today I just want to get into chapter 6 and we'll see what she says. So, money to survive. In the past, people would trade their items for other items they needed in order to survive, which is called bartering. Today, we still have a system which involves bartering, except to receive all the needs, we must, in return, give money. When we eat, first we must work for the money. The money is used to buy food, and the food is placed on the table for you to eat. It's a hot day, and you need something to drink, water. We go to the tap and fill the cup. Water isn't for free. It's free in our homes to drink and use whenever we feel like it, but we pay for it to be supplied. For society to produce electricity, food, shelter and water, it takes considerable time, effort, people and money to put it all together. Especially today, nothing is for free. If we had no system, like basically what is yours is mine, we would end up in complete chaos. For example, a supermarket has decided that everything in the store would be free. It's impossible. We couldn't walk in and buy our central necessities, for greed would take over. And that is true with COVID, cyclone, all of this stuff. When we need stuff or there's a chance for, everyone just goes crazy. What for? You're not going to miss out. People would waste and everything would be taken for granted until the day there came that there is a shortage. Needed to have correct flow is in order, otherwise we become lazy and the natural flow would be frozen. Money to live, eat, shelter and provide can make many things all too scarce. Some people say money makes us corrupt. It makes oneself blind. The fact that we gamble at the casino, pokies, races or some other venture, it is greed in which we decide so much wealth that we obsess over it. And all that matters to achieve what we want. Okay, so, all of that sort of stuff, yeah, it's great to have fun. But at the end of the day, you're chasing for something. In life, we all have a vice to love. We have many vices. It could be sport, alcohol, art, shopping, smoking, or something we absolutely love to enjoy in our spare time. My grandfather who passed away not so long ago loved to drink. Love is not the word. Another way to express it, it was just a part of him. Why did he do it? Only he knows. In many ways, it is what killed him by building a fake wall and stopped him facing reality. However, he enjoyed it. It is what made him happy, but it also caused him a lot of trouble. It's like when a child has a favorite toy or blanket and they carry it around. It's sort of similar that we bring something for the ride, also to keep us company, like a security blanket. But sometimes in life, we've got to let go of that stuff. That stuff holds us back and it's no good for us. Okay, look at your vices in your life. There's certain things that I love, but I have to do them in balance. Otherwise, they take over my life. And I've seen the negative effects of us having vices like shopping, gambling, smoking, eating food, binging. They're all that stuff. Even things like being lazy, procrastinating, they're all vices. What are yours? The point to me made clear is that it's all right to enjoy all there is, like money, hobbies, smoking, drinking, and TV, if it's in moderation, that it doesn't take over the part of you that isn't lost through a side of you that makes it work against you. Exactly what I'm talking about. You know, back in these days, my whole family smoked. Okay, I come from a European background. Like my other grandfather, you know, he died in his 80s and smoking, you know, of course it made him sick. But in those days, that's what they did. So my background is part of that, but then at the same time, I see the health effects that it does. Miss Rosie, what do you want? I'll come and talk to you in a minute. It wouldn't matter if my grandfather had to stay in hospital for a week. As soon as he would leave the hospital, he would go down to the pub to celebrate. It's a waste when you think about it. He lived a full life, traveled the world, he got married, he had children, he had grandchildren. What more could he have wanted? Life is so unpredictable. As long as you are happy, you determine the outcome, to either reap the rewards or suffer the consequences. So in other words, like even if we have the best life, okay, you see it with actors and movie people and famous people, they may have everything materially, but again, it all comes to what's inside here that drives our happiness, that drives our passion, that is our purpose. Okay, so you may, on the outside to the world, look like you have everything, but what's going on in here? And if what's going on in here is not good, then you're going to sabotage and you're going to destroy everything around you. Sometimes people also need to be grateful and realize what they've got. We take it for granted, and that's a huge thing. Like before I finish this, like I've also learned that lesson too. You know, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, he spoils us, he gives us stuff, he looks after us. But if we live a life where we take it for granted or we don't do the right thing by him, things will be taken off you. So if there are things in your life that, you know, is a blessing, but then at the same time has been stripped off you, what have you done? That's karma. Something again. Like sometimes again, that same thing. You give from an open heart to someone and then they treat someone not in a nice way. That other person loses that person. That good heart, that love, that support. Okay? That is the same with the things in our life. Okay? Sometimes we actually have to have those really harsh lessons about car, home, money, family, health, all of that stuff, like our health. You know, you don't look after your body, and I've got this lesson all the time, and you don't have respect for it. You know, you'll manifest sickness or illness, and to a point, you have to learn to respect and love your body. Stop being in stress mode. Stop neglecting yourself, looking after everyone else and not yourself. So see how everything is about coming back to yourself. It's all about the self. Money isn't a bad thing, but it's a main need to survive. When we are young, finish school, you begin to live a new path to live and support yourself. It's great to show something for all your efforts, to be comfortable, to be able to take time out and treat your family for a nice meal at a restaurant, go on a holiday, and be ahead of the payments of the house. To have satisfaction that you've worked and achieved your goals. As long as you don't take advantage, the scale will sit balanced. When we get skilled, experiment, the way money is today will in our children's time not exist. It will be similar to credit cards, plastic money that will creep up on us and put us in a lot of debt if we aren't careful. It's money we don't have to buy, but we won't worry because we'll always be able to count on credit and debit cards. Money is here to trick us, as well as be a reward for when we succeed. For we shall walk along the road with our pockets full, not overflowing, as the impossible will look after us for a lifetime. Whenever we need something, it will come if you ask hard enough. You think you won't be able to find the money, but you set it up as a goal and it will turn up. So even back then I was talking about manifesting and creating. A gift or someone lends you the money. You may just walk down the road and it may be there. How about sometimes when you walk down the road? We don't do it very often anymore, but I used to always find money. Yeah, right, you say, but in life, anything is possible. Always expect the unexpected. One day I needed to put some money on my braces for a payment. However, while on the bus, as I left the seat, I forgot to take my wallet with me. When I realized it was too late, I lost over $100. All my work efforts for that last week gone. It was my responsibility, but I had to learn a valuable lesson because at that time I was becoming materialistic and wasn't aware of the surroundings with me. It was all I focused on until this happening awakened me. I was upset, but I knew the money would come back in another way. Depressed as I went home, I received an unexpected call. It was my boss to give me more hours to work. It was not good to work, but the money was there. It hadn't gone too far away. In our minds, we create mental pictures as our mind has no sense of humor. As if we think and we get in tune to it, physically happens. Most of the time we create our happenings because we let our mind think it, create it, and produce it like a person writing an essay on the computer. When it's finished, it's printed out on the printer. When we focus ourselves to the point where we're being sidetracked doesn't bother us, that's when everything will be fine. Enjoy all there is and be the person you want to be with no added accessories. Isn't it true? When we meet people, you know straight away with some, what you see is not their true self, as they are covered and they are protected with their clothes, looks, how they act and live. It's their safety net, a protective fence. Isn't it better to see a person for their true colours? If we intended to be something we are not, we wouldn't be who we are. Never judge a book by its cover, as it will get you all the time. For you won't know until you give it a chance to open and let the glorious words foretell their own story. Wow. So that's a lot of stuff to unpack. That's a lot of stuff to think about. Like even way back then, I was earning money, working, but then I was thinking of things that I shouldn't have been thinking, and I had responsibility for my braces. And I had to learn a lesson. I had to learn respect. I remember way back, and I used to get in trouble all the time. Like I'd have a wallet, and instead of putting it in the same place, I would just throw it anywhere. So, all these little things, like a little ripple effect, everything has consequences. Everything affects something. Okay? So I'm going to leave it here. All right? I hope you have learned something from today. I hope you get to take inventory of your life today. And I want you to try and build that relationship with money in a different way. Look at your energy. Look at why it's not flowing. Okay? So I know straight away when things break down, I get bills, my health is not good, it's because I'm not in vibration, and that is all it's about. Everything is energy. All right, take it easy. Happy Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.